existence is just something that's so powerful because we don't have a clear understanding of even why we originated in the first place, other than the fact that we were part of a great plan of source and that it's still unfolding.
I'd love to hear your ideas, or not ideas, your experience, what you've experienced when it comes to existence and, that gateway. I'd love to really kind of hear your ideas and takes on that relating to existence.
Yeah, I think beyond, what we think of as like the material world, there's this energetic world that's going on. And we use it's a really interesting fixation on light to prove this idea of differentiation and separation. And so, we use our eyes to fixate on things. We forget that the image that we're seeing is actually an image inside our mind. It's our mind taking the light and making sense of it. And so it makes walls, and it makes the door, and makes cities mazes, and it makes a computer screen look like an image, etc. And we forget that what's happening is that light's stimulating the eye. It's going through the optic nerve. It's going into the brain, and the brain is using its neural network to be able to create this understanding of space-time. And pretty soon, over time, the way that we do that collectively is to make that reality, and only the things happening within that field or spectrum is being real is what we experience, until the point that we're just ourselves. We live in an idea of our identity. In that identity, we go through our daily life, and it's pretty repetitive. And what sits behind that is ultimate existence. Existence was there before you were born. Existence is there after you die. Existence is the origin of your consciousness, which is not just located or relegated to your physical body. It's part of your body while you're alive, but it's more expansive than that. It goes beyond that fixation of light that we live in, where we think that everything has to fit within the four walls of our existence in that box that we've created for ourselves. And the doorway really takes you through that box. It takes you through an experience to where you can see infinity goes forever. The universe goes forever. You start to see that, out in the rest of the cosmos is an unbelievable amount of spiral galaxies and stars, literally billions upon billions upon billions of them. And this idea of being isolated here of the earth in this human dramatic story starts to fall away, and consciousness becomes more of a phenomena of spirit, of God, of source. And I like source as a term just simply because God is also a religious term, and source is about the essence of even how religious people came to the notion of a God. So it's like, it's seminal to the idea of there even being religion. And so I just think that, this idea of existence asks the question and answers the question for the universe itself. So it is also what scientists call Big Bang, or origin of this version of universe. It's also the origin, if people believe in multiverse. It's also the understanding that beyond death, there's something so much more than both the idea of something dying, the idea of something reincarnating, or some binary scenario that you get presented with, like heaven or hell, or, these other concepts. So it goes beyond the notion of nothing. It goes beyond the idea of a binary reality, and it goes beyond the idea of a cyclical reality where you have to come back and do this again in some other form. All of those philosophies, I think, are very powerful philosophies, and billions of people believe in them. But ultimately, existence proves that there are gateways into and out of all of those different scenarios. So if you look at the philosophies that sit behind them, there's always some way to reincarnate and ultimately achieve the way out of reincarnation. There's always a way to ultimately find salvation and move from, one side of the binary argument to another. And I think those are arguments that we're creating about this phenomena of existence. And existence is just something that's so powerful because we don't have a clear understanding of even why we originated in the first place, other than the fact that we were part of a great plan of source and that it's still unfolding.
What is your understanding or explanation of what occurs when someone has ayahuasca and goes on that journey?
That's a mysterious question. I think that's what makes ayahuasca so powerful and so special. But fundamentally ayahuasca is a plant medicine tea. You participate in a ceremony with it. It has curative properties associated with it, or healing properties associated with it, but it also has these unbelievable capacities for awakening and for vision and purpose to the nature of those visions. It's not just hallucinations like some people talk about, but rather that there's a context associated with it that's both psychological and also spiritual. And there's also an awakening in the body that takes place through the ingestion of it, where, as you mentioned, the chakras or the light body also light up, and those concepts of existence of those phenomena become real. So, it's not just, oh, I've heard about chakras. You can really feel them. Many people can see them. It's not just that people have, auras in concept. People see them and feel them. It's not just that we have energy. People see it and feel it. It's this massive expansion that takes place. And then in the mythology of the forest, there's this idea that the plants themselves are sentient, or they have a kind of consciousness associated with them. And, we always experience that through our own consciousness. And so, or the field of consciousness, however you want to look at that. So you can either say, well, I drank it and it's happening through my consciousness, or it's happening because we're in this field of consciousness and we've somehow united now together in a way that we can communicate. And the communication, I think, it's an incredible form, because it's not just a phonetic linguistics. It's not just syllables and sounds that we make, but rather it's molecular. It's the essence of the substance itself that you drink, and it goes into you and it interacts with you on a chemical level, and it fundamentally changes for a period of time how you think and how you feel